What up, what up? Back at it again. Another week in the books. I'm here. I'm your boy, Gabe. Down there, that's JoJo. Say what's up, JoJo. Try not to. That's Julian over there. Right here to my side. Wearing
What's
the
up,
freshest.
people? What's up, people?
Freshest Marlins hat.
Trying to show off the hat.
Oh, look at this. So I just got this thing.
I like the color scheme. It looks like dolphin colors. It's like teal, but it's not the. It's not like
Is that the throwback Marlins hat?
2003.
Yeah. I don't know if you know, JoJo. The Marlins are doing flashback Fridays. They're wearing the teals, the old stripes, which look dope as hell. Like that shit still pops. So I think it's dope. I wish they would bring back the blacks though.
Yeah, this is a little
with the white.
Well, this is a little off color. This isn't the exact same color teal. Yeah. I don't know if the camera really does it justice. It's a little different, and then obviously this is cream, so it's not like the exact.
It looks like the Dolphins. Dolphins. The
2003. Yeah, it looks more like the Dolphins aqua, more so. Well, I guess the Florida Marlins are kind of the same. I don't know. You have to see it in person. It's slightly off. It's slightly different. But
it's about time to bring these uniforms back to play, even if they're doing it only on Fridays. You know.
Yeah.
Bring the crowd in, right?
I need to get a jersey, man.
Well, you know the only reason why they did it.
I need to get a World Series '97 jersey. Yeah. No, don't get JoJo started on Jeter. He'll suck his dick.
Here we go.
Camera.
No, Julian.
Did I say that too early into the podcast?
He's just certified hater. Whoever people like, he doesn't like. He likes to go against the grain. Whatever's popular.
No one likes Jeter, dog. Everybody hated Jeter.
What are you talking about? Don't talk about my captain like that.
He's saying everyone, as in who. Only people that hated Jeter.
JoJo, the world doesn't revolve around New York.
Kind of does, actually.
The rest of the country didn't like him. Like
it kind of does. It kind of. You said the entire country. Right. Who?
Take us to the first topic.
I think Jeter's a trigger point for Julian. He must have done something. I think he hates Jeter more than people hated Jordan growing up when Jordan used to cook the Knicks.
If you're not a Yankees fan, no one likes the Yankees. That's a pretty common thing. Like,
let's listen.
Yeah, boys, we're so good.
Let's stop this fight. We have plenty of baseball. We got a whole baseball season. We're only like 20 games into the season. We got 175 games left. So let's save the bickering for later. Let's talk about the fucking league that always makes news, even if it's not playing any games we haven't seen yet. Obviously, NFL, we're coming up on the draft in a couple weeks, right? It's coming up, I think, later this month.
Next week?
Yeah, I think,
I'm pretty sure.
So, draft is coming up soon, but the NFL always making news with transactions. Obviously, I think the one that came out today, the biggest one was the Steelers and the Rams. The Steelers are getting Allen Robinson from the Rams and a 7th-round pick for another pick, and also they're going to have some compensation. I think the Rams have to pay $10 million to Robinson's salary, and then the Steelers pay only the rest of the $5 million that he has, as long as he passes the physical. Obviously, fingers crossed he passes the physical. But I'm gonna go to Julian because that's Allen Robinson. Was he drafted by? He was drafted by the Jags, wasn't he?
The Jags in the 2nd round in 2014, I think.
Yeah. So how do you feel overall about like the Rams acquiring?
So this is hilarious. Gabe, what did you think when you saw this? Like when you first saw this? I couldn't believe it when I saw it.
Because Allen Robinson is, consummate professional. I think I really haven't heard anything bad about him off the field stuff. I'm surprised that the Rams, we know the Rams loaded up, like their roster, their cap space. I don't know how much cap salary that they bought, but we know they bought a lot after that championship. They sold their soul for that championship, and it seems like this is them trying to offset money they have to pay. I'm surprised because I figured this would have been his landing spot with the Rams, with that team. But it's just a little bit shocking, right? Because I still think he is a good player. I'm not saying he's like the top 5, top 10 receiver in the league, but I think he can still be productive. So a little bit surprised that he didn't stay a little longer.
The compensation, though, is what got me.
Yeah.
So the Steelers get Allen Robinson in a 7th-round pick, and the Rams just get a 7th-round pick back, and they have to pay two-thirds of his salary.
$10 million.
That is insane to me.
They
have to pay $10 million of his salary, and and they only get a 7th round pick, which is essentially the pick they gave up. And then the Steelers get it. The Steelers absolutely fleeced them. Number one, Steelers. This is honestly kind of a surprising thing. Is kind of ushering a new era with the new front office. Steelers. When is the last time you ever heard the Steelers trade or sign anybody big in free agency? This is super, super rare. They're always a team that goes through the draft and builds through smaller free agents. 2, Allen Robinson is probably. I don't want to say he's disrespected. Throughout the years, but he was never able to I feel like ever able to live up to his full potential because of the quarterbacks he had around him. He had, I believe, 5 1,000-yard seasons and dealing with atrocious quarterbacks. He was the number 1 receiver for at least 8 years. And then once he left the Bears to go to the Rams, you thought, oh, cool, he's finally going to get a quarterback. Then Matt Stafford's out for the majority of the year. And it's like, man, this guy went from Blake Bortles to Mitchell Trubisky to Nick Foles to finally over to the Rams where you had Matt Stafford. But then he's gone for a couple days. And then even the games they did play together didn't really mesh. And then he dealt with Baker Mayfield. And it's like, man, like this guy, I just felt like his youth was so wasted. To now he's getting older and he's not that same player anymore because he was the number 1 jump ball guy. He was probably one of the best jump ball guys in the league in his prime. Now I think he's going to a Pittsburgh team where he's probably going to be a number 2 or 3 receiver behind Dante Johnson, who had a breakout year last year. Who had him on fantasy? I remember I went against somebody who had Dante Johnson on fantasy and he absolutely cooked me. I was like, fuck. Yeah. But by the way, you obviously got it. Yeah.
I'm gonna say real quick, Mitch Trubisky is a secondary backup for Kenny Pickett, so I wonder if that is a factor on the Steelers because potentially they would be rejoining forces. I don't know the extent of that relationship between Mitch Trubisky and Allen Robinson, but they will be meeting up again. And he probably will be the lead receiver. If you look at the depth chart, there's names I've never seen or heard of. Deontay Johnson is the biggest one. George Pickens, Cody White, Gunner.
George Pickens was not bad. I remember catching a few. He's actually a nice little piece. Their first round draft pick last year, Pat Freiermuth, the tight end. He actually had a really good year. I think he was a top tight end in the league stats wise.
Yeah, he might
last year. And then obviously Najee Harris in the backfield, who really came on last year as a running back. Man, Pittsburgh got a nice little team. I think a lot of it's going to come to how Kenny Pickett can come in his second year on how well he can do it. I think he's got the pieces around him now. Steelers did add a few pieces in the offensive line. I think they're going to go tackle in the draft. So I like the Steelers. I think they're slowly but surely building a competitive team that can compete in that division. But yeah, I couldn't believe how hard they fleeced the Rams. I mean, the Rams are just going on they got to get rid of everything. They need to get anything they can get back. And it seems like they're even paying salaries just to empty out everything that's happened. So it's looking really tough for a Rams fan. But Jojo, what do you think of this?
You think it was worth it? You think it was worth it? Getting that ring and having to deal with all this?
Listen, it's rare, man. Only one team. 32 teams try. Only one makes it. So I mean, if you're trying to build a legacy, especially they're in a brand new stadium. I mean, listen.
I will say, I think the Rams sold their soul the hardest out of anybody. They weren't. I don't think I've ever seen a downfall
or dynasty. They weren't thinking dynasty. They were thinking one and done. Let's enjoy this, and we'll deal with the aftermath later.
Hey man, the rings are forever champions.
What they're outgoing. I actually do want to see their outgoing transactions for the Rams.
AD should have retired then at this point. I wonder if he's going to come back this season.
No. So I mean, overall, I'm okay with it. Like I said, I think he can still be productive. I'm not saying he's the fastest guy, the biggest guy, but he's definitely gonna be at least their number 2. You're talking about a veteran wide receiver coming in. A big guy, like I said, not super fast, but a big body. We'll see. I don't have. It seems like I don't have high hopes for the Steelers overall this season. So it's I think there's more discussion, more talk in the league about the Ravens, Baltimore. We can talk about that a little later. But Steelers, it's like
Yeah, I mean, I mean, like I said, I think they're building. They could be a sneaky good team. Like I said, I think a lot of it just depends on how Pickett like really develops this next year. And second years are always a big year for quarterbacks. But man, looking at the Rams did have a lot of outgoing. I mean, released Bobby Wagner, obviously traded Jalen Ramsey, now Allen Robinson. Like I'm sure there's just more. There's going to be more coming. So they got to clear up space and get picks back because they have none of them. So that's the thing too. You're not even just trying to clear space. You're trying to get picks back.
Bro, they gave it all
which
away.
Is like pretty crazy.
Their money, their picks, like
because
they're not going to have anyone coming through a draft. They gave up all their picks.
And man, who knows how? I don't even know if Matt Stafford how he's going to return because I forgot what. I remember his injury was like really serious. It was like to the point where it's like he might not ever play football again. It was something with his neck, I'm pretty sure.
Cooper Kupp, I think didn't he tear his ACL or something? Or he had an injury midseason as well. So I mean,
I'm looking at CBS News. He's 34-year-old was placed on injury reserve with a concussion and neck injury. December 20th, he is not retiring as of December 20th. So there's that.
Man, that spinal contusion. That neck spine shit is scary. In a league,
luckily,
like in a sport like football,
he took a huge risk trying to come back, and he did. Ended up winning that last Super Bowl.
And probably
that's risky.
Peyton had those years, but you could tell too. Post that neck injury for Peyton, his throwing was never the same. Obviously, it was enough to win a Super Bowl, and he still had a record year the following year. But you could tell. You look at the way those balls are coming out of his hands; they're wobbly.
He's one of the worst quarterbacks to win one of the worst quarterbacks to win a Super Bowl. Absolutely, like one of the worst Super Bowl performances.
Okay, no, the year.
The second one
he won,
the Denver one.
No,
he was one of the worst quarterbacks to win a Super Bowl, or worst performing.
Both, not the Colts.
No,
I'm talking about Denver,
JoJo.
Denver Broncos.
Well, that final year with the Broncos, he was
awful.
Bad.
He was bad.
I don't know if you go back. That was like the Brock Weisler year.
You're gonna have to pull up numbers.
They won despite.
No. The record. Well, the record.
I'm gonna have to hear.
The record touchdown year was the year they lost to Brady.
With this blasphemy.
The
one of the worst Super Bowl performances.
If you look at the year he won, that was his like final year. That was a bad year. He was washed. That he could barely throw the ball. The year prior, his like first 2 years in Denver, he had record. Those were like the record years where he got the touchdown record.
Yeah, and, I remember that.
Yeah. But then literally, I mean, I think it was the year. It was literally the year after where they won the Super Bowl. Like he completely tanked. He got carried to the Super Bowl. Because I remember Brock Osweiler, cannot say that dude's name.
Did what he needed to do to get him there, right?
I remember seeing that. I remember watching that season. I'm like, man, this guy cannot throw.
Yeah. So
we saw the Super Bowl together that year, 2015. Yeah. We saw the Super Bowl together. All right, I remember that.
It was awful.
And
he was awful.
Don't be dramatic. All right, no.
Okay, you want numbers? All right,
it was bad.
Let me put the numbers. I got numbers. Let me get numbers. This is 2012, 2015. This is Peyton Manning's season. I'm gonna give you touchdowns and interceptions.
Yeah, his retirement.
Because he did 3 years. He did 3 years, right?
I'm gonna give you all the numbers. 2012, 37-11, 37 touchdowns, 11 interceptions. 55-10, 39-15. Yeah. His last year in 2015 was 9-17, 9 touchdowns, 17 interceptions.
Damn,
it was sharp downturn.
He had single digit touchdowns. He had double digits his whole life. 30. He averaged 20 plus, like 26 plus every year of his life until his last year.
Second.
Bro,
so the 55. Yeah, so those 55, that 55 touchdown year was his second year, and then he went to 37.
Yeah, 39-15, 9-17 his last year. That was his final. 9 touchdowns. Insane. 9 touchdowns. And 17
still better than T-Law.
Okay. I will say he was. I think he did miss a lot of games that final year too.
Yeah,
it wasn't like he played a full season.
Yeah,
I remember, like I said, Brock Osweiler got a contract out of that year because of how he played, even though it wasn't even that great.
He played.
And then he got hurt, and then they brought Peyton back in because Peyton was on the bench. I think for the divisional game, Peyton came back on for the divisional game, and then that defense was insane that year.
I mean, look, he carried 3 out of 4 years, and they honestly they lost. He lost to Seattle. Like, he fucking carried. Like, come on. About time, like, the defense showed up and won it for him. I'll take that. I'll take 3 great years for that one terrible year. I'll take that.
You know what's so crazy? That terrible year, he finally gets past the Patriots. But like those previous 3 years where they're like record breaking, he cannot get past. He still couldn't get past Tom.
He's gotten by Brady one other year. That's when they made it.
Oh no, yeah. They lost. Yeah, they got destroyed by Seattle, right? Yeah.
Yes.
And then obviously he won one in Indy where he passed Brady for the first time. I think that.
Well, yo, thank you for bringing up the facts, Gabe, because I'm like, listen, I'm hearing all this.
The numbers don't lie.
I need exactly.
I'm surprised you don't remember that. I remember that.
He was awful.
Bro, I don't remember it being that bad. Like, I was like, damn, hold on. Like, I know it's like towards the end of his career, but I remember him going off. That's what I envisioned.
That guy looked like he was throwing a can of paint every time he threw the ball.
Y'all just
it looked like he was throwing shot put.
One bad year. One bad year out of 4, and that's the year you guys remember.
Yeah, because it was bad. It was bad.
15.
But he won a ring.
For as great as he's been for the whatever 19 years he played, as great as he's been, his last year was terrible.
Bro, yo,
isn't that ironic?
Field, bro. His time was done.
Isn't that ironic? That's so ironic to think that his second Super Bowl comes like after his worst season ever.
Yes, I know. That's what I said. One of the worst performers, one of the worst Super Bowl champions. Put it up there with what do you want to put? Rich Gannon? I don't know. Who won?
No, it's up there with
Bengals.
like 2000 Ravens.
No, the
2000 Ravens.
Let me not disparage.
With Trent Dilfer.
Rich Gannon had a good one. What was it? Trent Dilfer? That's the one. There you go. One of the worst.
Trent Dilfer, the 2000 Ravens. But that a legendary defense.
There you go. All right, let's talk about other quarterbacks. Let's talk about other quarterbacks that are retired and don't have neck contusions and shit in their neck. Let's talk about also one of the biggest transactions over the weekend. Jalen Hurts got extended. He reached an agreement, a five-year deal worth $255 million. And I believe there's a no trade clause, which is like the first ever allowed in the Eagles contract. So 5-year, $255 million. JoJo, I mean, is it too much? I mean, is Jalen Hurts really that good? I mean, 5 years.
I mean, shit, man. I think he deserves it. At this point, he made it to Super Bowl. We saw what he can do on the offensive side, and just his leadership overall. Right, the Eagles want him there. So I feel like they did whatever they had to do to keep him. But for 5 years, that makes him paid more than Patrick Mahomes, right? Technically, because he had that 10-year contract. So I think the value per year.
The Patrick Mahomes thing is it's kind of different though. It's a little weird the way they structured that, from what I remember, because they really pushed a lot to the end.
But like in terms of guaranteed money, who has more?
Yeah. So right now, Jalen Hurts number one, 55. He's gonna make in this year in the salary 2023. 51 million is given to Jalen Hurts. Aaron Rodgers 50 million with the Packers. Russell Wilson 48.5. Kyler Murray 46. Deshaun Watson 46 million. They're old this year, and Patrick Mahomes is number 6 with 45 million.
Deshaun Watson, that's insane.
What is Allen at? I thought Allen was like at 50.
Josh Allen's number 7. He's underneath 43 million. So. 2 less than Mahomes with 45.
I mean, I'll say I like this contract. I think it's a really fair contract. I think based off what he's shown, he's progressed every single year. Oh my God, did he win MVP? I don't know why I'm drawing a complete blank.
Who won MVP?
Jalen Hurts. Who won MVP? No, Patrick Mahomes did. Patrick
Mahomes did. He could have. If the Eagles would have won, he would have won an MVP.
The MVP is determined during the playoffs. It's for regular season.
Okay.
Anyway, okay. Yeah, but no, I mean, he, like I said, he was in the MVP conversation pretty much the entire year. Like I said, he got progressively better. I like Jalen Hurts. I love his ability to be able to move and throw. I will say this. I think who dislikes this the most, or who it probably affects the most, is not even Jalen Hurts. And I don't want to jump over to it we'll talk about it after. I want to get everybody's thoughts on this, but I think it hurts Lamar Jackson the most after all these contract disputes and everything. And then you have Jalen Hurts. I think it hurts him. This is less guaranteed money than what Jackson.
Lamar wanted over 200 guaranteed. And honestly, I feel like not that he could have settled, but he could have had a decent contract, good amount of years, 175 plus if he was willing to negotiate that.
Yeah,
guaranteed.
Well, but before we fully transition to that, let's finish with the Jalen Hurts thing. But I think this is a really good you can tell Eagles, with all the re-signings and all the signing bonuses they did this offseason, they're preparing for this. It all worked out. I think how they're handling it has been really good. And, shout out to Jalen Hurts. I think this is a really good contract. Gabe, give your thoughts, and then we'll switch over to Lamar Jackson, if it hurts Lamar Jackson.
Again, I want to apologize to Eagles fans. I was a skeptic 4 or 5 games. I'm going to repeat this again. 4 or 5 games in, but I became an Eagle. Fly, Eagles fly. I was rooting for them. Obviously, I think this is a great money move. You're guaranteeing him in. Shout out to Patrick Mahomes, who said, obviously, at one point, Patrick Mahomes was the highest paid quarterback, and which is obvious because he's one of the best probably quarterback of this generation right now, as far as going forward. So I feel like all rising tides raises all ships. So, and especially with the Deshaun Watson shit coming out, him getting the guaranteed money, obviously, come on, how many Super Bowls Deshaun Watson been in? But so obviously, very deserved. Well worth it. I think Jalen Hurts is, this is his moment to be, up there, the top 5, top 10 guy. So overall, I'm not mad at it. I'm not upset with it. It's a business decision. I think Jalen Hurts, we've seen him, perform well, and as long as he stays healthy, it's a fine. It's good stability to have. Which, by the way, side note, 180 million guaranteed is what he has.
I will say and if you're an Eagles fan, let me know if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure what I think is really funny about this too is during Doug Peterson's last year in Philly, remember the whole Carson Wentz, Jalen Hurts thing? It was Jalen Hurts was the rookie. From what I remember, I think Doug Peterson wanted to play Hurts, but the front office wanted to play Wentz because they invested all the money into Wentz.
Yeah, I remember hearing that.
It's a sunk cost.
Yeah, but now look at it. Peterson was right. Hurts had it better than Wentz, and it's just kind of funny now looking back at it. It's like, damn, you fired this guy because you couldn't agree with him, because obviously there's a lot more things that went into it, but one of the big things that was public was that he wanted Hurts to play over Wentz, but they wanted to keep Wentz because they paid him. And now you're paying Hurts after all that.
The media went crazy finding out, you want Hurts over Wentz? Are you crazy?
Yeah.
Because at the time, that's when everybody, they worshipped Wentz and they believed in Wentz and they thought he was going to be like the next Peyton Manning and, the next face of the NFL. And look what ended up happening.
Which I would say is fair, because obviously we know Wentz, when he did play with them, he did play well for them, but obviously Wentz, is a Dr. Robotic. He's out there. You don't know.
He's got to be done, right?
Yeah, he's got to be done, right? That's what they say every year. He's got to be done. He's got to be
done. Somehow he's gonna get a fucking 1 year starter deal for the Falcons or some shit. It's gonna for Houston or something. He's gonna somehow weasel his way into a starting job. He should be a backup.
But Jalen Hurts, congrats to you, my man. You're one of the biggest quarterbacks, well deserved. Hope you do well in your career. All right, since we want to talk about it, let's transition over. Go ahead.
I was going to say, if you're going to do it, let's talk about how does this really affect Lamar Jackson? Since we briefly mentioned it in the middle of it, to me, I think it does. It seems like JoJo thinks it does. What about you, Gabe?
I think overall, obviously it's going to affect it, right? Because now we're talking about market price for quarterbacks.
Yeah.
And the price is set, right? Yesterday's price is not today's price. Do I think it affects it? No, because they the Baltimore Ravens place them on a franchise tag, right? They have first rights. They have first right of refusal. Either they can match it or they have to re-sign them. I don't think you can let them go. Once you put that tag on them, it's pretty much guaranteed he's going to be with the Ravens. Especially since over the week we saw Odell Beckham Jr. signed. Let me get the numbers here. Signed $15 million contract 1 year with the Baltimore Ravens, and apparently, rumors coming out that this is what Lamar Jackson wanted. Was a big receiver, and this is tough because obviously Odell Beckham Jr. is coming off of that injury, his ACL, off that championship Rams team that we talked about earlier. Didn't play in the playoffs, but was the last time I saw Odell Beckham play with the Rams, he was fine. He was good in spots. I wouldn't say like he was overall like a game changer. He was good in spots, but obviously devastating when you wouldn't go down with a leg injury like that. So he's coming back, $15 million. I think that's a lot for Odell Beckham Jr., but I think that's a signal. Name. I think that's a signal to Lamar Jackson that yes, we want to keep you. You'll stay, and I think that this is a sign that he'll probably be staying with the Ravens going forward.
All right, so details on the $15 million too. I'm looking at it. It was a $13.8 million signing bonus, so he's only going to take less than $2 million on the salary cap hit. So they pretty much gave him straight signing bonus on this guaranteed money, which I agree with you, Gabe. That's a lot of money. The good thing is, who cares? It's coming out of the owner's paycheck. It's not affecting the salary cap. It's only going to take just under $2 million on the salary cap. But man, $15 million for Odell, who last we saw him was 2 years ago on a torn ACL. Didn't even play last year.
I felt like the last time we saw him,
and this is your play to bring Lamar back. Like, look, if Lamar wanted him, that's one thing. But, like, if I was Lamar, I'd be like, bro, you gave me fucking Odell, like, out of his prime. Like, you kidding me?
I mean,
meanwhile, D-Hop's out there.
But like,
if you wanted him, then okay, whatever. But, like, I don't know. I mean, I don't know why you would want Odell. Like, why? He's not the same guy. He's been out of the league for a year, coming off of a really tough injury. And even when he last played, it wasn't like he was that great. Anyways, he was a number 2.
He was a
number 3 wide receiver.
He was all these. He was a number.
Yeah.
I mean,
that season.
And it's just like, really, like this is your ploy to try to bring him back. I don't know, man. It's just kind of wild to me. I will say though,
going to Lamar's $200 million guaranteed, but you know.
Well, here's what I'll say too with the Lamar how Hurts affects Lamar's contract, because one, I don't know if you guys agree with me. I think Hurts is better than Lamar. I think he is. I think he's proved more. Yeah, he doesn't have an MVP, but he had like an MVP like season. He went to the Super Bowl. To me, he just shows way more talent. And, like, I think the Hurts contract's fair. I wouldn't be surprised if Lamar gets something similar to, or, like, I wouldn't, like, say Lamar just didn't care about having a fully guaranteed contract. I could see him getting something close to what Hurts got. But for him asking $250 million, like, guaranteed, like, I don't know, man. Like, that's what I was saying. Like, I think the Hurts thing really, like,
don't judge it off now based on what, Hurts got paid, right? So if that never, happened, if this contract never happened, I mean, I think Lamar's just as good as Hurts. Obviously, he was injured, the last 2 seasons, but we've seen what he can do. And obviously, Hurts made it to a Super Bowl. But look at the team they had, right? They had a great team, great coaching.
I understand.
They were prepped, and we have to. If you're really gonna dive deep and look back, like whatever reason Lamar didn't make it to a Super Bowl, if y'all want to break down the playoff games, or was it his fault? Was it play calling? Or can Hurts run it back though? Can he get the team there again? Right. So that's the question.
No,
but I do agree. Now that he got this contract, right, it does set the market, right? Like so. It is going to hurt Lamar getting paid for sure because of what Hurts just accomplished. And if they're settling for that amount, then they're going to look back at Lamar's performance and be like, yeah, you're not going to get paid that much.
I think that's a fair contract for Lamar. If you like 1-to-1 that for like Hurts, I think that's a fair, like what you give. I think for what he's asking for, look, I mean, if he can get it, he can get it. But like, I wouldn't be surprised if he got something like what Hurts got, but it looks like he's not wanting that. And like, can you really say that like he's better than Hurts? You could say maybe he's on the same level. I personally think Hurts is better, but like, yeah, it's crazy. I'm really interested to see how this works out. I don't think the Odell thing really changes.
It's too late now. It's anything. Too late. He's not getting that. He's not getting that contract.
And Odell's I mean, the only weapon they ever had in Baltimore was Mark Andrews, the tight end. Like, other than that,
man, Bateman was good. Bateman had spots for them.
Unless they roll. Oh yeah, Bateman. Yeah, he's rookie. He's He was rookie last year, so he's gonna. I don't know. Maybe I don't know. I guess we'll see. I guess we should see.
Yeah, I was gonna say overall, I think this is a good position for Odell Beckham. Like he doesn't have to be the number one, right? Because they have Duvernay, who's a fast, speedy guy. Bateman is a really good prospect. Young in this league, so he you know what I mean he can. I think Odell Beckham Jr. can eat without being the number one guy, right? Like, I don't think he has that pressure on him. Yes, he's a veteran. He's probably be the oldest guy in the room, but like he'll probably benefit off the work of the other guys, right? Because you have to concentrate on the young, fast guys that maybe Odell can be productive for them. But we'll see. We'll see how as we get closer.
And it's signing bonus, so who gives a fuck? It comes out of the owner's paycheck. It's not like it affects everybody else's. So.
Last thing, I guess we can talk about the Dolphins real quick. Dolphins have acquired. They made tons of transitions over the summer, I think. But the biggest one of name was Chosen Anderson, formerly known as Robbie Anderson.
The chosen one.
I'll go to Julian. It's only a 1-year contract. I think it was $15 million. Let me look at the details. Let me see. Was it $10 million? I can't remember. But overall, how do you feel about? Yeah, I think it was like 10 something like that. Overall, how do you feel about the Dolphins acquiring Chosen Anderson on top of what they're trying to do with Tua?
If he can go back to his Carolina days, I think he's not bad as a third wide receiver. I think he's a really solid third wide receiver. I didn't get a chance to see much of him. And did he even play that much for the Cardinals?
Once he got traded,
it was a midseason pickup, and then he got injured, right?
So, once he went to the Cardinals, he didn't play that much.
Look, he formerly known as Robbie Anderson, like saved my fantasy career 2 years ago. That dude came up huge for me for Carolina. But he hasn't. I mean, he's kind of living off the success of that one season. But I mean, he's going to a stacked offense that is the Miami Dolphins. I think he can slot in real nice over there as like a third or fourth option. So I wouldn't expect too much from him, but it's a nice piece. You can always use more weapons that are proven commodities in this league. So, I mean, you're the Dolphin fan. What do you think? I know you were trashing this man, the chosen one.
I wasn't trashing this. I mean, it is strange. Obviously, we saw when he left Carolina, he was very upset with the whole situation. He was yelling and screaming at coaches, and I think he got traded
by Darnold.
Yeah, that game ended Sunday, and I think he was traded like on Tuesday. And I thought he would be a good pickup for Arizona, obviously, but I think Arizona now is like kind of in shambles. So picking up, this is another situation where like he doesn't have to be. Obviously, he's not going to be the best receiver on the team, and he doesn't have to be. But I think he's a great addition. I think the Dolphins also signed Braxton Berrios, who's a home team guy, went to UM, coming from the Jets. Very fast, he was okay in college. He was at the time he was probably the best UM receiver that they had. So I think this is just giving more or less excuse for Tua to do poorly and giving him more weapons, more options. So the signing of Chosen Anderson, I'm fine with, especially if it's cheap. It's just an additional talent. It's another, fast legs, which will be welcome because, this division is definitely improving. We're gonna have to face Aaron Rodgers with the Jets. We're gonna have to face Josh Allen. So we're gonna need weapons
whenever that gets done.
Yeah.
Yo, I'm like, is that even finalized? Is that even? I feel like we spoke about this 2 months ago.
It's pretty. From everything I'm seeing, it's pretty much a done deal. It's just like finalizing like the other things about it, but it seems like I think even Aaron Rodgers has come out like on the Pat McAfee show saying like, yeah, he's going to New York. It's just a matter of like settling the other thing, like the other smaller aspects of it.
I'm talking about letting the ink dry. And there's no ink drying because nobody's even picked up a pen. So, but I think it's pretty much guaranteed because if you look at the Packers, their front office, they've pretty much came out and said this is all Aaron Rodgers' decision. Whenever he wants to do whatever he can, it's up to Aaron Rodgers. So,
and I think they're ready to see what Love's got. Yeah. They're ready to see what Jordan Love has.
So we shall see. That's it for the NFL. Let's transition over to NBA playoff basketball because we're in the middle of the season. When we're recording this today, the Miami Heat are playing tonight. They're playing Game 2 versus the Bucks at Milwaukee. Let's just talk overall, JoJo. I don't know if you saw anything of the series. Obviously, we had some big. To me, it was a big upset, and obviously big news with Tyler Hero being out. Also, Giannis being hurt, being questionable. So let's talk about Game 1 of the Bucks series and where do you think this goes forward?
Shit, man. I mean, he definitely got a well-needed win on the road. I think a lot of people lost confidence in them the way they performed in that first playing game, and then obviously they bounced back in the second one. So they had a little jump start heading into the playoffs. But aside from Giannis getting hurt, you can tell there was a sense of urgency in that Heat locker room. Like you felt the vibe when the way they started the game, right? They actually took a small lead early on, and they were trying to hold it best way they could, and which obviously they did because they won. And then Giannis went out with his injury. So they set the tone right away for these playoffs. And now what I hope to see from them in this series is just to continue to have that heart, because we know that Heat culture, right? They don't have the biggest names on that team. They had a few veterans. They have Lowry, Love. You can't expect these guys to really pull through and have 30-point games for them, right?
Yeah.
You have the young talent you need to rely on, which you just lost one. Tyler Hero, guy that had a massive contract with the Heat. But what really stood out was the 3-point shooting.
Yes.
That first game. When guys do their job and they knock down the shots they need to knock down, specifically for the Heat, because that's why they're there. Max Strus, other role players. When they're doing their job, it makes it so much easier for everyone else. But when they play terrible and they lose that confidence and they lose that drive, it all goes away. So I don't know how confident you're feeling, Gabe, in this series overall. Obviously, they have to win 3 more times.
Yeah. And I think you hit it right on the head. This entire season has been an anomaly because, last year when they made a deep playoff run, it's because of their shooting. And this year when they came in, the shooting has been horrendous and terrible all season long. It's been awful. We had, the first half where we were hard. It was hard to get players on. Guys were skipping. Kyle Lowry was out for a week and a half. We don't know where the hell he went. Jamie's out. So they kind of stitched together the season, to make a wild card run. So I would say the last, it's been watching Miami Heat games, the last 10 games of the season have been like playoff games because we were trying to fight for that seed, that number 6 seed, or trying to move up spots. So the fact, like you mentioned it, like they shot lights out. When they shoot well, they play well. They fucking win. Jimmy Butler is an absolute monster, probably top Heat player. Jim VP is a real thing. Playoff Jimmy is a real thing. That actually
Jimmy's a real thing.
For as much shit as we give him, during the regular season, like, oh, is he for real? What's his legacy? Is he gonna be a great player? When the playoffs turn on, bro, Jimmy shows up to play. So that I'm glad for. That is something that I have to worry about. Now I worry about the other guys stepping up. Kyle Lowry, historically, probably. The last 5-6 years, one of the worst playoff performers of all time. Like his time in Toronto has been god awful. For as good as the players he's been during the regular season, awful in the playoffs. What is he gonna do? Bam Adebayo. When you play well, and he's being now this guy in the talks of a perennial all-star, that type of level. You have to show up, right? The great players show up. Now it's gonna be tough with Tyler Hero being out. But this guy has to be a next man up. You have Gabe Vincent over there. Max Strus is shooting lights out. He's been excellent for them. Yeah. Gabe Vincent and Max Strus have been playing well. So it's going to take a team effort, right? We're playing kind of a hobbled Bucks team, but if I'm a Bucks fan, like you guys have been champions. We've seen Giannis play through injuries. This is when players the great ones say not today. So me going into the series, I expected absolutely nothing. If anything, I expected maybe to win one game. The fact that they stole game 1 from them and actually have momentum going into this game today, coming off a 3-day waiting period since the last game they played. Listen, I'm not saying that Miami Heat are NBA champions, crown the ring, let's plan the parade right now. What I'm saying is, it's going to be tough. If we can get past the Bucks, if we steal 2 games from the Bucks, if we steal a game tonight from the Bucks going home to Miami, bro, we got a series. Yeah. In the NBA, see, the playoffs don't start until the away team wins the game. And the fact that, the Miami Heat have been playing, like I said, exceptionally well. They've been playing playoff basketball since the last 10 games. And it's been up and down. It's been a roller coaster, especially you lose to Atlanta, a weird spot, whatever. But they've been playing very well. And it's they made it interesting. I'll say that. Before. They made the series interesting.
Oh, yeah. No, I was going to say like, yeah, because I got a chance to watch this. You know, obviously like JoJo was saying, he's like the Heat came out strong in general. Like even like when Giannis went down, I think they were up by like 15. It was like 25-12, something like that.
They were already winning. Yeah, exactly.
They were up, moving. Obviously the Tyler Hero injury hurts, but you know, obviously the Heat have essentially been playing without Tyler Hero in the playoffs for like the past couple years. So it seems like something they're not necessarily like. They're not like they're kind of used to this. And I still think the Heat have the firepower, even though it hurts to lose him in the playoffs. I still think they have the capability to obviously still do what they need to do to get a victory. You're going to need players like obviously the guy you paid so much money to, Duncan Robinson, to like come up off the bench and actually like put up points. But who knows if that who knows if that's going to happen? But that's what you need, honestly. Like you need other players to step up. I thought Kevin Love had like a sneaky good game. I mean, 18 points. Like he's like if you can get like, yeah, I'm not asking the world for Kevin Love, like not like Minnesota Kevin Love or like early Cleveland Kevin Love, but like if you can get reasonable results and, you know, score 10 plus points, you know, get about 10 rebounds, and you can contribute to the team and be like that sixth man. That's great. Like, and you need as many people as you can now that you're losing one of your starters. You need these role players to come in here and kind of supplement those players that are gone. And now with obviously Jimmy Butler, you're spot on. Every time this man's in the playoffs, he's dropping 30 plus points a game, like every time. And now he's really going to need that. So I think you know, it kind of goes back to what we were talking about last week, where it's like, are 8 seeds really 8 seeds nowadays? Or like for like obviously with the Heat having just a weird regular season and everything having to like, you know, barely getting in, losing that first play-in game. But at the end of the day, we all know the Heat are better than probably what their seeding is, you know. And I think they came out here to kind of show everybody that in that first game against Milwaukee. You know, you go up against the best team in the league and you pull out a result. Now you get home court advantage. Giannis is questionable this week, but just this game tonight. But even if he does play, like, how effective is he going to be? Because it looked like it was like a tailbone injury, and that can, you know, that hurts a lot when you're jumping, especially somebody his size. So,
and imagine having to play against Bam all night, getting banged up under the board with him all game.
They hit him in the elbow in the back.
All game. That's not going to be fun. That's not going to be fun at all.
Not going to be backing him down.
But
you know, Giannis, if he's clear to play, he's gonna play. You know this guy.
Yeah.
Oh
yeah.
No, yeah, 100%. But I mean, now that you need Lowry to step up, you need Robinson to step up, and you need Kevin Love to stay consistent. And if you can get that, I mean, I think there's a realistic chance they could win this series. I mean, you already got one down. You got 3 more games in Miami. It's possible. You know.
Yeah. This might sound cliche, but they need to actually play like every game's their last, because this series can, you know, fall like in a second.
Like,
it can fall in a second against the Bucks.
I'm looking at the box score right now. 2 points in 18 minutes for Kyle Lowry is just like unacceptable.
That's ridiculous.
Like that's ridiculous. And honestly, you do need and you also need more. Which I thought this watching this, Max Strus was like kind of like non-existent during the game. I mean, and looking at the stats, it kind of resembles that. 8 points, 2 assists, 5 rebounds. Like
he disappeared. He disappeared. Game one, he disappeared that second half.
Forward.
Yeah. And Max Strus was good the first half of the game, but he disappeared in that second half. Everybody needs to play. It's one of these things where like everybody needs to play very good just to have a chance. It's not like, oh, we play good and we'll win. Y'all need to play good to maybe pull out a win.
And I can see that. So the Heat is like weird because like honestly, like I know Heat culture, but I don't know their identity offensively. It's like you don't know who's gonna have the good game that night. Like it's so unpredictable. Like and
that's why don't know.
Like you don't.
Well, you know Jimmy's gonna get his.
Yeah.
Well, Jimmy's gonna get his. And I will say, like, with the Tyler Hero thing, that's why I was saying, like, I don't think Tyler Hero being out is like the biggest of deals. Like,
I think it is. Like, I think it is because that puts more pressure on Kyle Lowry. I think it's a big deal,
but I don't think it. Well, that's what I'm saying. I think it's a big deal, but I don't think it's like, look, I don't think it's like the worst thing in the world. Like, I still think even with Hero out, there's still a realistic chance that he can compete. Yeah. It's not like if Butler was gone or Adebayo was gone or like Giannis gone for the Bucks. Like at the end of the day, you can still kind of. I mean, look, they put up 130 points and Tyler Hero only had 12 before he got injured. So it's like because you can still put up the points that you need to. The team has still showed the capability with him being gone that can put up points.
Well,
and they also, like I said, did it the last few years in the playoffs with him kind of being non-existent.
The thing with Tyler Hero, I would say, is Tyler Hero, Kyle Lowry, both defensive liabilities, right? We saw this in the playoffs a couple years ago.
Bro, everybody is nowadays.
Tyler Hero is a liability, but like I said, Kyle Lowry is even more of a liability, being older. You would think you'll have a veteran player who play well in the playoffs and understand the pressure and meet the moment. But if I had two liabilities, I had to pick one. I would rather have the youth in Tyler Hero than having Kyle Lowry, in my opinion. Maybe he steps up. Maybe Kyle Lowry is offensively going forward more. He's more productive than he is, a detriment on defense. But I think it is going to hurt them. Like you have now, they have to play their best anyways, and now losing Tyler Hero, I think you lose an option in that. And we'll see going forward. Like I said, they'll play tonight.
Or if Duncan can step up, but I wouldn't bank on that. He hasn't stepped up since he earned that.
It's crazy how far he's fallen. Like he might have a comeback game. It's in him. He's had amazing.
Maybe he needs the minutes. Maybe he needs the minutes. He needs the time.
We could keep playing it. Like I would really like to see him go like 4 for 6, 4 for 7 from the 3, gain his confidence back.
Listen, if all those fails, put in Hazard, man. I seen him make some threes. His last game, he scored 27 points. Hey, listen,
you're talking about Lowry being a defensive liability.
Put in the OG, man. Put in the OG. All right, let's talk about some other series going on in the playoffs. I don't know what are the games. I don't know. Is there any only thing that we'll talk about the Miami Heat before we end it. I think they're in best position. Like if they can get past the Bucks somehow, like they have the easiest second round playoff because there's going to be on the other side is Boston and the Sixers, which I don't think. I think
that would play out perfect for the Heat actually.
And also, all they got to do is get by
the Bucks.
Yeah. Also, somebody told me, I don't know if this is true because I've never heard this before, but they said if the 8 seed beats the 1st seed, the 8 seed now retains home court advantage for the rest
I don't know how that works because the regular season. I don't know how the matchup works. I
thought it was the highest seed playing whoever's the highest seed.
Yeah, you only get home. Yeah,
home court advantage.
Especially if you have advantage. Yeah. If you have a
that's how it's always been. Yeah, but they were trying to tell me that it's a new rule that if the 8 seed beats the 1st seed, then now the 1st seed. Now that 8 seed who beat the 1st seed now retains the 1st seed's like home court advantage to the playoffs.
I'm not sure about. I don't know about that. We'll talk about it next week. We'll find out. At the end of the series. I'm not sure about that. Let's hold off.
Yeah, I don't know if that's true, but that's what they
conspiracy theory. Oh man.
But let's talk about the East. I don't know, JoJo. Like I said, I just want to talk real quick.
You gotta shout out the Knicks, bro. They stole a game on the road too.
Yeah. Pretty much upset 101 to 97 game 1.
It took game 1, folded game 2, but you expect that to happen. They weren't supposed to win one on the road, but they did. Yeah. And now they about to go back to the Garden and see what they can do there.
And listen, the last thing we need besides a cocky Heat fan, who won game 1, is a cocky Knicks fan. Listen, y'all have the Knicks have a nice little team. Y'all got a nice little team the last couple of years. Y'all are interesting. Hashtag Bing Bong. No, we don't need no Knicks fans. We don't need.
Listen, my goal is to get a Knicks fan.
We don't need no Knicks
on next episode.
Okay, y'all got a nice little team.
To get their next win.
But listen, I'm looking for y'all. Listen, let me get past the Buck first, and then I'm looking for the Knicks. Let's switch over to the West real quick. On the West Coast, let's talk about the biggest thing that happened this year, or the biggest thing that happened so far in the playoff this week. It was announced today. Adam Schefter came out that Draymond Green will be suspended for one entire game.
Damn.
Woj.
He's switched to basketball?
He does like basketball. I'm sorry, Woj. Woj came out that Draymond Green will be suspended for a game for allegedly stomping on Sabonis. Obviously, we saw the game. The Golden State Warriors are playing the Sacramento Kings. The Kings have lit the beam. The beam has been lit. Huge rivalry. Jojo, I'll go to you, Jojo. What you seen of this game, and how do you think so far of the Kings' performance versus the Warriors?
Shit, yo, Warriors, man. Honestly, I'm never gonna count them out, but they down bad. It's not looking good for them at all. All right, obviously,
Dave, weren't you the one saying Kings are scrubs?
Okay,
that was me,
Jojo.
That was
Jojo.
Oh, it was JoJo.
But I was saying that if they were to play against the Lakers, I had Lakers winning that matchup. But let's talk to the Warriors real quick. They have the worst road record.
We knew this all year.
We went over that last week, right?
We know. Everybody knows this. It's a fact.
Not really surprising. They dropped the first 2 playoff games to a team that finally made the playoffs since 2006 and had sellout crowds with the fans just going nuts in there, right? Like that's not really a surprise. Now, can they bounce back? I could see them bouncing back, but now we're talking about this whole suspension that's going on, which we have more noise. For the Warriors, right? Yeah. It started in the offseason with Draymond. Now it turned fold all the way into the playoffs, right? Yeah. Went a full 360, came right back. Like, what's going on here? So, guys, Julian hasn't really seen the clip, but let's talk about
I just saw it now.
Flagrant foul that was committed on both sides. Yo, Gabe. Yep. Break it down. Break it down to our fans, to our listeners.
Well, I mean,
who haven't seen this video yet.
So, okay, apparently, allegedly, within the game, Draymond is complaining that his ankle's being grabbed. Right now, this is defense play. The ball is going back. Kings have the ball. They get a rebound. It's going back the other way. They do a layup. Some defense falls. Sabonis falls, and apparently, going backwards, a backwards movement. Draymond steps. Look, to me, I'm not a Draymond. Listen, Draymond has done this before in the playoffs. We've seen him. If it weren't for Draymond Green, all right, 4-time champion, Draymond Green would be a 5-time champion if he would have been not ejected because he had so many technical fouls.
Against LeBron.
I forget that one year against LeBron. He got suspended a game. That game was. I remember that last game, not this week that this happened. That last playoff that he got ejected. They were actually close to winning, and then when he got ejected, and then obviously got suspended the next game, the whole series turned over. I feel like that was a turning point in the Warriors series. So like I said, Draymond Green could be a 5-time champion if he wanted to, but Draymond Green is gonna be Draymond Green. We're gonna do. Oh, you're pulling up the video.
We got the video.
Bitch. Okay.
Man. No, it's not the video. It's not a video. I don't want to get copyrighted.
Okay.
Got it. All right. So look, check this out. Anyways, so Sabonis falls. Right, he fell backward. I guess trying to get the rebound. He wraps his arms around Draymond Green's ankle. Now Draymond tugs his leg away. Right. Sabonis still had it. To get his leg free, he then steps on Sabonis' chest. I'm not gonna say stomp because I don't know if it was intentional. That's what we're gonna talk here. Right? So that's what we're gonna discuss. He steps on his chest and then steps over him and runs down the court and was delivered a flagrant foul, which actually got him thrown out of the game. And then he goes to the stands, hypes up the crowd like it's like Malice at the Palace here.
Yeah.
That's the vibes I was getting, which honestly could have been a very dangerous situation, knowing the NBA's past history with acting like this towards.
They're on the road. Warriors on the road.
To throw a drink at him, and that's what started the last fight in Malice at the Palace.
Yeah.
To ignite that, man, I just feel like he embarrassed his team in that moment.
Yeah, but here's the thing: I'm not surprised with it. Like I said, we've seen him do this before in the playoffs. He touts himself as getting the most techs or playing the most fines or whatever. That's kind of his thing. And to me, and Draymond overall, what's my overall opinion of him? Draymond, to me, I think Draymond is a dirty player. He does a lot of talk. It's funny to hear him talk after the games. He has his podcast and he says the wild shit. It's very entertaining to listen to and watch. But to me, if I was a Warriors player, if I was a Warriors fan, I'd be so frustrated with Draymond. Like, it's like you're shooting yourself in the foot. And like, it's not like this is the first time it happened. This is the second time this happened in a playoff situation. And to me, it's just like, man, why can't you just play the game? Like, do you really have to stomp? Okay, your ankle gets grabbed and poop or whatever. Like, do you have to, at that moment, stomp on his chest, like, with double feet? Do you have to do that? Like, to me, it's completely unnecessary. And the fact that the Warriors A, have had a terrible road season. B, they're losing on the road to a young Kings team that have never seen the playoffs. C, you get Draymond doing this. To me, if I'm Steph, I'm not like patting fucking Draymond on the back. I'm like, yo, you're a fucking dummy. You are dumb. Why are you doing this? Well, like completely unnecessary. Like the refs already know your reputation. Everybody's watching you. You have everybody's looking with a magnifying glass. Why in that moment did you feel like? To me, I felt it's intentional. I feel like he's a habitual line stepper. Why do you have to do that in that moment? Like, if you want to kick him with one leg, okay, but do you have to double stomp him? You have to like double stomp with 2 feet? Like, come on.
That's wild.
Nah.
Listen, yeah. So with the suspension, the reasoning behind it was like past behavior, right? And like that's what he's known for. Like, it's crazy. Now my thing is though, Sabonis, it's crazy how he's getting out of all that. Like he should have been thrown out of the game too. Why are you? That was a non-basketball play. Why are you grabbing someone's ankle? What the hell is that? When have you ever seen?
It's just to annoy and get people's heads.
No, you know bro. Like that could have easily caused it. And now if Draymond got injured,
you're right.
Like they say he twists his ankle or some crazy shit.
Okay, you're right.
How you know what I mean? Like.
That's what he should have done, bro. He should have played it out. He should have played it out. He's like, oh, and then just fall backwards. That's what he should have done.
It's hard to say in the moment. I mean, it makes sense. I agree with you, but it's like, I don't know, because to me, it's like, I guess he tried to step over him, and try to play off the stomp. I'm not really sure, like, but why? He literally wrapped 2 arms, not one. He was hugging his leg. What the fuck is that?
Yeah, and I just want to get the word from the VP, executive VP, Joe Dumars said, here's what it came down to: excessive and over-the-top actions, conduct detrimental, and a repeat offender. That's what separates. That's where you end up with a suspended. So he's a habitual line stepper. Draymond, not surprised, but I would be super disappointed, especially knowing you have a terrible record. Now they're down 2-0. They're going to go back to Oakland, back to Golden State. And hopefully you have to. These are like must-win games. You have to win these next 2 games. If I'm the Warriors, you got to win both. And
No, yeah. I watched it. He stopped, bro. It's like no one steps. No one. I was like, it could have been that much force. No one's just like that. Like, oh shit, I need to walk up these stairs. Like, no one does that. Like it was a clearly intentional. I'm honestly surprised he got away with 1 game.
I thought he was in the street for that one.
I'm surprised he got away with 1 game.
I think he only got away with 1 game because his leg was being grabbed. Let's say his leg wasn't grabbed and he ended up doing that. Yeah, he would be suspended multiple games. But I think Sabonis.
Let's talk about.
I know that Draymond is like obviously an amazing defender and he contributes to the team through his defense. But it's just like, it's always like funny to me how he gets the biggest pass when it comes up to like not scoring points. He gets such a in a league where even centers are shooting threes, and he gets a complete pass for like averaging like 5 points a game in the playoffs.
Bro, he's trying to be the modern day Dennis Rodman.
Yeah,
that's what he's trying to be. Trying to get 20.
He's not even close to Dennis.
2 blocks with no points, couple assists here and there.
All right, let's transition over and let's talk about some other series in the West. Jojo, I'll give you a chance to talk about your Lakers versus Memphis. Obviously, we had some tension going on because there's, last time I saw the Memphis Lakers matchup, we were talking about Shannon Sharp trying to fight everybody on the sideline. We talked about, John Moran getting suspended. So this series is back. We're back here. How do you feel about this Memphis LA Lakers series?
Honestly, you couldn't have written the script any better. Like, this is the 2 teams you wanted to see play. All this aggression build up towards this. It's just beautiful. Now, what's even better is that Lakers stole a game over there, and Memphis is quiet. John Morant did end up, I think, hurting himself. I don't know if it was 3rd quarter or the beginning of the 4th. So I hope he's all right on that. And, we want to play, or, if I was them, I want to play against the best talent. But yeah, I don't know if you guys saw that game, but in 4th quarter, man, you know what LeBron did? You know what a true leader does? He takes his hands off the wheel. He takes his hands off the wheel, man. No. Like, it was dope because your boy Austin Reeves, and, Rui Hachimura, they were going off in the fourth quarter, and that was probably one of the best games for both of them. And that's exactly what he needs. He needs his young core to go ahead and step up and make plays, towards the end of the game. Obviously, we know he can do it. He's done it countless of times. So I think that's a really good look for the Lakers overall, like moving forward in the playoffs. Obviously, that's only one game. I think they play again tonight, if I'm not mistaken.
Well, let me double check that. Let me look at the thing. I'm looking at
I got it up right now.
They still won on the road already. That's a really good look. So yeah, I mean, I feel like now
yes, they do play tonight.
People are changing their minds in this series, and they're favoring the Lakers based off that performance. Oh, and AD. Can't forget about AD. Oh, yeah. Your boy showed out as well, too. It was a key factor in that win.
So I was just reading Ja Morant. Obviously, they did x-rays on his hand. They were negative, but the MRI showed bruising, soft tissue bruising. So he's game time call for game 2 tonight. Overall, I think they play well, man. Like the Lakers, obviously we saw a big block by LeBron. Hachimura showed up and played very well. Yeah, man. I mean, I think it's an exciting series, especially for game round 1, a first round series. I think it's exciting. It's one of the exciting ones in the West. I don't have either of these teams going far, being in the finals, but like I said, it's still an exciting series going forward. It should be fun. We'll see what goes on with Ja Morant. Let's talk about the other series. I don't know if you want to talk about the Suns LA, the Clippers. To me, I feel like the Suns are obviously the favorite to come out. The biggest story was in this series is Scott Foster. Scott Foster has a terrible record. I think going into this series, Chris Paul was 2-15 whenever Scott Foster is officiating, and so the last game they played, they actually split. And I think they asked Chris Paul in the press conference, hey, did you notice that you guys were playing well, and did you notice how do you feel about this game where you were able to win with Scott Foster officiating? And Chris Paul was like, I didn't notice, and then he kind of held back a laugh. He was like, I didn't notice at all. And then it was quiet. So I don't know how you feel about this series. To me, I feel like the Clippers are going to clip JoJo. Do they have enough firepower to actually get past the Suns in this series?
Damn, I don't know. I don't know if you've seen Kawhi, man. I think that's a man on a mission. He doesn't say much, but all that load management is paying off for the playoffs right now.
It's going to have to be Kawhi and Westbrook.
Yeah.
And Westbrook,
that's all they got.
Westbrook had an amazing first game, not shooting. We all know that, right? I forgot he went 2 for 19 or 3 for 19.
Oh yeah, god awful.
But he turned it around. I think he was 8 for 16 or some shit like that last game. And in
28
game 1,
points.
He played a huge role in defending KD and Booker.
Yeah.
So he's gonna go all out, right? So if he could clean up his turnovers and his missed shots.
Yeah,
Clips really have a chance. Okay, you can't go in there shooting 1 for 10, bro, and then keep shooting. You need to have that self-awareness. I know shooters shoot. It's past the rock. Just give it to somebody else.
But
bro.
But look, Westbrook dropped 28 and Kawhi dropped 31, and they still lost the game. Because look, Batum 0 points, Zubac 8 points, Eric Gordon had 12. Powell had 12, Terrence Mann had 10, and then Highland Plumlee 6 and 2. So there's not enough production going out throughout the team. Batum 0 points in 20 minutes, bro. 1 rebound, 1 assist. I
want to give credit to Westbrook because maybe his efficiency. We all know about his efficiency, but he definitely played very well against them, and that's one thing you want to see out of him. At least if you're not shooting well, at least affect the game in other ways that don't show up on the stat line. To me, I think the Clippers are going to clip. Phoenix have been the favorites all year long. They might make it interesting. It might go to 7 games, but to me, the Suns are they're a more complete team than the Clippers, in my opinion. But who knows, man? LA is gonna,
it's got to be the Suns.
Yeah.
There's no way the Suns don't lose a series.
All right, so going forward, let's end it. Jojo, I'll go to you. Series you're most interested in going forward? What are you gonna keep a close eye on?
Series I'm most interested in. I'm really interested in seeing if the Knicks come out of that first round against the Cavs. That'll be big for New York. I think it's gonna go to 6 games. 6 games, Knicks are taking it.
Julian, do you have any interest in any teams besides the Miami Heat?
Oh, I was going to say that was the only series I'm actually interested in. Outside of that, I like to see the Warriors get taken down by the Kings.
Wow.
I think that'd be cool to watch. Wow. I think that'd be cool to see a new team come in and take down the.
You're rooting for the underdog,
the reigning champs.
Honestly, listen, out of this series, I am interested in the Kings series, the Kings Warriors series. I picked them both. Like I can see either of these teams being in the actual finals. But right now the Kings are playing. They're playing very well, and they're a young team. They haven't, they're not playoff tested, but they're in the playoffs now. So if they can get past the Warriors, I think that'll be a big boost for them. I mean, it's just kind of, to me, they're like the Miami Heat of the West. If they get past, Miami Heat get past the Bucks.
Yeah,
you're gonna make it interesting. Same thing with the Kings. I feel like the Kings are my dark horse.
Boston's gonna be tough.
Boston. Listen, Boston's a good team. I'm not gonna be. I want to be dismissive because I know they're good, but come on, it's Boston. Like, come on, you guys are fooling.
Like Sixers ain't scared of Sixers. Boston, honestly, anybody else would, but I think
Boston's coming out of the East. Man. I'm sorry, Gabe.
That's a tough team, Gabe.
If Milwaukee goes down first round, Boston's coming out of the East.
It's Boston's tournament. Yeah, I think because Sixers for sure hell ain't gonna do nothing.
They're not gonna beat them 4 times.
We'll see the results. This will be out in a week, so after this, the game will be played. We'll probably be on to game 3. But we'll be here next week. Real Fans Podcast. We appreciate everybody checking us out. YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, all the things, all the socials. We appreciate y'all being here. Check us out next week. Real Fans Podcast. See you.
Peace out, everybody.